the May LLB 2020 season. So today, as I told you, we have a special guest with us, Claire. And before that, I'd like to say a few words about the season that's in front of us. So as you all know, we have 3 seasons of this year so far. So we have a January season that was completed on 26th of January. Then we have a May season that is starting now and it's going to complete by 9th of August. And then we have a September season that's going to be complete by 20th of December. And some of you have been a January season players. Some of you are a May season players. And some of you are September season players. So raise your hands who are here, the January season players. Let me see the January season players. All right. And see who is the May season players. Yay. And who are the September season players? Yay. So we have 3 seasons so far this year. And the game is the following. So the game is that each season you do your best in your projects and your content. So either it's your main season or it's your not main season, you do your very best in the season, right? So this is the beginning of our May season. So that's going to be a classroom for all of us to begin a new chapter in our learning, a new chapter in our lives, and a new chapter in our performance. And there is one little news that I have for you. And this is that I decided to give up on my summer break. And we're adding one more season in between the season 2 and 3. So between the May season and the September season, we're adding one more season in between. And that's going to be a June season. So we're going to welcome one more group in between in the June season to join this fantastic experiment that we are all doing this year. So if you have anyone who is eager to participate in this community, you're welcome to welcome them to the June season, which is open from now. So the June season is going to begin from 15th of June till 15th of September. And basically when the May season is going to be in the middle, so somewhere about 15th of June, there's one more season starting, and it's going to finish on 15th of September. And you'll be able to watch one more group of people going through the final sessions. Now, the most important part of the season is what? Who knows what's going to be the most important event of the season? Who wants to share? Natasha, I'm sure you know what's the most important event of the season.
Well, to be engaged and the final session.
Mm-hmm. So the final sessions are going to be the most important events, right? And in the May season, we have Natasha, who is also joining us, isn't it, Natasha?
Yes.
Good. And what is going to be your topic, Natasha, for this season?
I would like to talk about the happiness and how to improve your life to bring more happiness, less stress, and to be more relaxed, just to enjoy.
Great. Yeah. Great. Thank you, Natasha. And I'll ask also another season participant, and I'm going to choose Yuri. So Yuri, what's going to be your theme this season? Well, I can't hear you. We can't hear Yuri. Maybe while Yuri is fixing his voice, Andrea, what's going to be your theme this season?
My team is business model.
Mm-hmm.
I create it. I will create this one page business model for my business.
Great. Thank you, Andrea. And who else? Let me see who else is here. The May season. Indira, what's gonna be your theme this season?
My team is decision making.
Great. Thank you. So you're gonna see there are gonna be 12 or 13 participants who are gonna go through, and they're gonna share their very best of their thoughts after 3 months in a 30-minute session. And those of you that experienced already the final sessions, you know that they are fantastic. They're really, really great. And to start the season, Claire and I thought that it's very important we get more creative this season. Do you agree with Claire and I? So we gotta get more creative, and we gotta find the way how to keep going, keep taking actions, even though we have some fears. And we may have a fear of failure, or we may have a fear of not being good enough, or we may have a fear of not being perfect enough. Who of you encounter such fears sometimes in your language or in your life? You have such fears? Okay. So Claire is gonna today take us through a process. Actually, Claire and I are gonna be leading this classroom together. And we're gonna take you through a process that's going to help you a lot in tackling those things and in getting more creative. And before we begin, I'll take you through some more announcements. So 3 weeks ago, I promised you that we're gonna open another section of the LLB for those people who are running businesses or have a job in sales or are looking to sell something, to create a group that's going to be focusing on funnels. So I prepared everything needed, and this is going to start tomorrow. So tomorrow you're going to have an announcement, and you can join the group of creating new marketing funnels for your existing or new ventures. So this is for the people who are looking to increase your sales of some products or increasing your marketing efforts. So this is going to open tomorrow, and you're going to be able to click somewhere and then join, and then you're going to be part of this group that's going to be exploring how to get more customers somewhere. So just raise hands of those who want to be part of such an effort. Andrea, Yuri, Natasha, Metka. Okay, just to recap for those of you who were not present on the past classroom. So I've been exploring for the past 2 or 3 years various ways of increasing the traffic and kind of the channels of new customers. And I think I found the best thing on the market. So something really, really fantastic. It's quite new, and but it's also very successful in America. So it's a marketing slash IT. So it's something that can create like a $35,000 website and funnel for like basically for no charge, because I'm gonna be inviting you to whatever I already paid, but it's a much smaller amount of money for much bigger effort. So I'm gonna be testing it and exploring it and learning about it. And those of you who are gonna join me, you're gonna be learning together. So this is one of the kind of clubs that's gonna be starting in the LLB. And my vision for the LLB going forward is that we can have various clubs like that, where we can split by interest groups, and we can have some kind of a process that we can learn something or achieve something based on our interests. So this is one of the clubs going on, and another one that Natasha and I have been mostly attending and creating. It's a breathing technique of Wim Hof, and that's something that we're also going to be reviving. So those of you who want to wake up early, we can meet together and do some breathing techniques of Wim Hof, and then we have another breathing and yoga class from Andrea of the Nirvana breathing, and this one has been very vivid and really active in January season, and I think we're gonna ask Andrea to open another season for us for her breathing classes, which are going to be around 7. I think, and Andrea is leading those as well, and she's gonna post more information in the next couple of days or weeks. And if you guys want to cheer for that, you can ping her and say, Andrea, I want to join this class too. So there's a couple of clubs going on, and what it looks like that, and we also have a public speaking corner with Bustian Romich. He also offered the new season players to give some feedback on their presentations, and he can offer some classes on that. So there's a public speaking club, and it looks like we're soon going to have a creativity club as well after this session. So do you like this idea of various clubs opening in the LLB? Does it sound like fun? For whom it sounds like fun? Good, fantastic. And then are you guys happy to have another 12 excited people joining us in the June season? You're not afraid of being too crowded. You're happy with that? Okay, because I was reluctant to do that, but I actually got so many requests in the past month, and when I saw the January season how much they got, I decided to cut off my summer holidays and take another season on. So really good. So in 2 minutes we're going to start a class together with Claire, and I'd like to give you a few guidelines how we're going to do that. So we're going to go from the simplest explanations and conversations towards less simple, then less simple, and then very advanced on the end. So we're gonna call it a level discussions, then it's gonna be a B level discussions, like we're gonna call it B1 and B2 level discussions, then it's gonna be C1 and C2. As you all know, I've asked you to take tests, and if you haven't taken the test, please do that. It's very important, so that we can tailor your program to your level or to the level you want to get in. So that's how we're also going to take this classroom. And now, just before we begin, I'd like you to take 2 minutes to share with a random person who's going to be your partner of how are you, maybe where are you from, what is your topic, and maybe what is your favorite thing about LLB so far. So you can share. I'll give you 2 minutes, so make sure that after a minute you switch, and then when you come back, we're going to all begin. So let me split you up in rooms now.
try share screen. So I've got my slides on this side, and I've got you guys on this side. Does that work?
Mhm. You can click on the share screen.
Oops. Ooh, how interesting. Okay. Does that work for everybody? Yep.
Mhm.
So I most of the time I'm a visual artist. I make paintings, and I also do music, and I do performances. So sometimes in the exhibitions that I have, there's a performance with music, sound, and but it's also the concepts of art are very important to me as well. So recently I've been writing about the aesthetics of failure. I don't know if you know the meaning of the word aesthetics, but it's a kind of philosophy about beauty and about art. I know we have some Japanese people here, and in Japan there's a concept of wabi-sabi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's it's about embracing failures. So that's the concept that's kind of what I've been specializing in. And so about 6 years ago, when I went to New York, I had a lot of time in a studio making paintings. And sometimes I would listen to books as I'm painting. And I was listening to a book called Zen and the Art of Archery. And they said in the book, if you want to be great at doing something, then you have to also be great at teaching that thing. And I thought, okay, so if I'm going to be a teacher again, what do I want to teach if I want to be really great at it? And I thought, I don't really want to teach painting because music is important as well. But I thought, actually, what I want to be really good at is being creative. So how would I teach being creative? So that for me, that was the most important thing that I do is the process of creativity. So I was thinking, being creative, it's not about a particular artistic skill. It's not about being a drawing or painting or playing the guitar or singing. But we can all be creative in life, as a way of life. And I think at the moment, especially, the world needs more artists, more poets, and more creativity, that everybody is more creative. And so I want you to think about, to begin with, about your own relationship with creativity. So what creative things do you do in your everyday life now? And what creative things did you do when you were younger, when you were a child? And how has your creativity evolved? How has it changed? And why has it changed? Maybe it's to do with money. Maybe it's to do with thinking you're not good enough. Or maybe it's to do with maybe your interests have changed. And so have you ever stopped a creative passion for any reason? Okay, so I wanted you to just talk in groups for 2 minutes, if that's possible, Mate.
Great. Yeah, I can break us into groups. I'm just going to summarize a bit of what you said to make sure I also understood and that everybody else is on the same page. Some people who completely understand you and they're gonna be thinking, oh, shut up, Mate, just move on. But for some of them who don't understand completely, I just want to recap.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that that you read a book where it said that you need to be a good teacher in order to show that you are a good user or that you're good at something, right? So if you want to be a good artist, you need to be good at teaching that. Then I understand that the most important part of being an artist is creativity.
For me, yes.
And because creativity is such an important word, I just want to ask Akiko to say how to say creativity in Japanese.
創造性。ママ。
Okay. 創造性.
創造性。
So you're talking about creativity or 創造性. And good, thank you very much, Akiko.
Sorry.
And so now, and we were talking about aesthetics, which is like thinking about beauty, right? Like a philosophy about beauty. And now we need to go back and think of our own thinking about creativity and our own the connection between me and creativity and maybe any experiences we had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I summarize everything you wanted to say?
Yes. So for example, maybe some people wanted to be a singer, or some people wanted to, liked building sculptures or something, or maybe not. Maybe some people were more creative with mathematics, or, so just think about how you were creative or maybe not when you were a child, and if you think you're creative now.
Great. So let me then move us into groups. So now you're going to be moved into your group, and in case there's any problem, let us know. But otherwise, I'm gonna start now.
Creative when you were young.
I was building lots of Lego blocks, and I had whole towns of Lego that I created.
Yeah.
With roads and with cars and with the whole shebang about it. So I created lots of stuff, and then I wanted to play in those towns, and I had the vision of building a whole city. And then I wanted to be a policeman, fireman, and a doctor. I remember, all at the same time. and then I soon wanted to also be a businessman, because my father was in business, so I wanted to be a businessman. Especially after I discovered that business is about having profit. I discovered that when I was about 11 or 12, I think that, about 9, that you can make some money, that you can buy something cheaper and then sell it more expensive. That was a really interesting idea for me. So then I went into business with stickers when I was 12, in school, and then I went into business with some IT stuff when I was 13.
Yeah.
I was quite. Yeah, and then I was collecting stamps, and I placed them in countries and in different categories, and I was creative in how to arrange it and how to use the computers to track it and so on. Wow, I've been quite creative through life, actually. Even creating LLB was one of my creative efforts.
Yeah.
This merge of different technologies and different aspects into something that makes the learning and teaching of English fun.
Wow, that's amazing. So there's connections between everything.
Yeah. I'm just aware that I've actually had quite a creative life. I've never considered myself creative. I mean, because I can't draw. I think I can't. I mean, my drawings are so funny. My wife is laughing so hard when I draw something. She said, "Post that on Facebook and tell them that Sophia's drawing. Everybody's gonna believe you." So, and I recently actually I saw a class how to draw a cat, and I drew it for Anna, for my 2-year-old.
Yeah.
So she was really happy. She asked me to draw more. Okay, let's go back. I think it's time. Hello, hello, hello.
Okay. Did everybody have enough time? Was that okay?
Just wait a minute. They're still in their groups. A few of them. They have 38 seconds more to go. But some people were eager to return.
That's okay.
Good. So I think we're back now.
Okay, so I'll go back to the screen share. Oops. Okay, so yeah, as I said, you know, I do something with my profession that is, everybody thinks that being an artist is being creative, you know, all the time. But actually, you know, I have to do some things every day which I don't think are particularly creative. You know, I have to prepare the paintings, and, you know, sometimes what I do is more like mechanical, you know, like a machine, just going through the motions, doing the same thing every day. So I think that a measure of how creative I am being is about creative breakthroughs. How many creative breakthroughs I am having every day, or every week, or, you know, once, maybe every month, you know, because it might not be every day that I have a creative breakthrough. For me, creative breakthroughs are really the gold in being an artist. That's where you know, it feels really good, and I feel like I'm moving forward, and I think it's the same for any profession. You know, whatever you do in your life, having a creative breakthrough is I think that it's even you know, the way that human brains work. You know, we want creative breakthroughs, and so one way, I think, or maybe you could say the way, maybe the only way, I'm not sure, but one way to have breakthroughs is through failure. Or when you have a breakdown, that's an access to having a breakthrough. I mean, you can improve if you're being like a machine, you know, and doing the same thing all the time. But when you have a creative breakthrough, it's bigger than improvement, you know. So it's okay.
So you're saying, Claire, you're saying that actually you gotta have a kind of a bad experience, like a failure, like not achieving something and even feeling bad in order to kind of feeling great with the creative breakthrough. So it's needed. So some down is needed for up, you mean?
I think so. Yes.
All right. That's
Yeah. It's a little bit like if you're a runner, or if you do some kind of sport, when you just feel like you want to give up and you push through, then you I don't know if you've experienced this before, but when you push through the difficult parts, I used to be a marathon runner, so I've done 9 marathons, and when you're pushing through that difficult part, just afterwards you get the chemicals, the endorphins, that make you feel good. So it's a little bit like that, I think. So you've got to have that struggle sometimes, you know, in order to really have a creative breakthrough. Okay, so it's a big improvement, not just mechanical improvements. Okay. Yeah. So, and it's also part of the flow of creative emotions. So I wrote an essay about this recently, and I'm not sure if I can actually find it, but I think that the whole creative process is, you go through these different emotions that perhaps they begin with a sort of anticipation, and then you begin making your work, and at some point you might struggle, and you go through this down, and then you have a breakthrough, and then it's about finishing. It's about that resolution. So there's a whole process. If you don't have a struggle, then that's fine, but you won't necessarily have a big breakthrough and really learn something. So okay, so I wanted to really think about failure. What is failure? How everybody feels differently about this word, because we've all had different experiences in life about what it feels like when you fail. Different experiences with, maybe being embarrassed or being told off, or the way that I think the education system works at this time is it's about passing tests and getting things right and not making too many mistakes. So everybody has had different experiences. So maybe just I would like you to think for a moment about what you think of this word, failure. How does it make you feel? Maybe we could share for 2 minutes. I'm not sure if it's too much sharing, but maybe we could just think about it, or if anybody wants to say something. What do you think, Mate? Should we just think about failure for a moment, or do you want to talk about it with your partners?
I think sharing, maybe we could do both. They could share with each other in the groups.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in the 2 or 3 people groups, and then they could also come back, and 2 or 3 people can share with what they feel.
Okay.
I think it's great.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to groups and talk about how you feel about failure. Maybe even think of an example of when in the past you failed at something and you had a strong reaction. Maybe it changed, you didn't want to do it anymore, or it could be a reason why you stopped a creative hobby or passion. It can sometimes be that.
Okay, great. And I just want to make sure everybody has their own partner. So you guys are all okay in those groups? I'm just now looking at the groups and checking whether. So you had Dunia and Umechan, Ali and Liliana, Adriana and Natasha. Then we have Akiko and Andrea, Indira and Tina. We have Pia Ryoske, Yuri, Robbie. Then Claire, I'm gonna place you with Masumi, and then we have Tomomi and Hermione. You guys all. Let me just do one little thing. Okay, perfect. And I'm gonna also place myself in one of the groups. So let's do that. I'm looking forward. Let's start. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, Tomomi. Hey, Hermione.
Hey.
So Hermione, what do you think about failure?
Yes. When I feel failure, I feel I fail. When I feel I fail,
Mm-hmm.
I feel I am not good.
Mm-hmm.
I am wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and all things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All things is bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel I'm so disappointed,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so yeah, disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. For me, when I fail, I also I feel I'm not good enough. I feel I'm not.
Yeah.
I feel that maybe it's not the right thing. So I'm thinking maybe I'm not the right person to do it. Maybe I should quit and then just
Yeah.
let other people do it. How about Tomomi? How do you feel about failure?
Failure is um, failure is English.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Failure in Japanese, you say shippai. Failure.
失敗。
Yeah. So
あ
how do you feel when you fail?
あ、ああ、あ、I have a lot of failure.
Mm.
500. I have.
Really? Oh my God.
But failure is myself uh, 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 very step up.
Ah, got it. So after failure,
Okay.
you step up and you go up.
Okay.
You go on. You continue. Fantastic. Sounds really fantastic. Thank you, both of you. So let's go back now.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're back now. Tadea, can you hear us? Let me just see if Tadea is on. I see, Adriana, you're in San Francisco too.
Yep.
Nice. Yes, I'm just gonna check if Tadea is on.
Okay. Is
Maybe we should ask a couple of May season participants to share. I'd like to hear from Masmi and Akiko and Ryosuke. And then from Slovenians, I'd like to hear from Metka, Dunya, and Natasha. So Masmi, let's begin. What do you think?
About failure.
Mm.
Okay, so I don't like the word failure because failure is very made me very embarrassed me, and I let's see. So my character is very nervous for everything. So I can't. Once I have some failure, I can't move again. Yeah. So I hate I hate the word failure.
I got it.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Masumi. I think Claire, I think she's done a really good answering, right, to the exercise. So you have some follow-up questions. Go for it, Claire.
I have one question for Masumi.
Yes.
If you could tell everybody what you were, how you were creative. You were finished when I was speaking to you. In what in what way were you creative? You said
Yes. So I was I liked so very I'm when I a child I like dance.
yes.
Yes, I like ballet and that ballet lesson every day. But for and the lesson continued to I was in high school student, but I think about job. The dancer is very difficult for money, so I decided to stop the ballet lesson, and yes, and then I study hard again. Yes, just it. Sorry.
Thank you.
I got it. Wow, I got it.
Thanks. It would be useful if everybody said what they did when they were creative, so I know exactly what homework that I want to give everybody.
And then I think I said Akiko, right? Next.
Okay. Thank you, Claire. And when I fail, I feel embarrassed and shame and a little bit stressful and anxiety. And the worst failure for me is I'm a doctor, an OBGYN doctor, and so my treatment is not working. It's so stressful, and I lost my creativity. Yeah.
Wow.
That's all. Yeah.
Got it. And Ryosuke?
Yeah. Thank you, Claire. I'm also a doctor and also a researcher. As a researcher, I'm making a lot of mistakes, small failures every day. And the experiment went bad. I feel sad, but it can be a good failure for me. But as a doctor, if my treatment don't work well, I feel very sad, and that is not a good failure. But I have to do better things for the next patients. I have to overcome the sad feeling and learn a lot about from the failure.
Got it.
Thank you.
And I think from Slovenia's, I may not remember exactly what I asked. I think I said Metka first. Oh, I can't unmute you, Metka. I think you need to click. Well, Metka is fine.
Okay. Okay. I do fails mistake also every day by work at home. I don't feel good when I make mistake, but I found then a solution for my mistake, and this is also possibility for me that I grow every day. That is.
Yes, thank you. Oh, Mate, I think you're muted.
And Dunya?
I failed a couple of times in my past, and I don't feel well. But then I realized that when you fail, it's important to stand up, and that failures are the part of our lives, of process when we are, and only if I feel bad, I realize that these are only the feelings that we feel, and that it's nothing. That it's normal. That all feelings are normal. You feel bad, you feel good, and you must just um, to start again when you fail. It's you need shorter or longer time, but you start again, and it's not a catastrophe. You just be active again.
Mm. Good.
Okay, like
Thank you, Dunya.
this, yeah.
And Natasha?
Yes, regarding the creativity in my life, I like to draw. I like to take pictures, do some creative things with my daughters. I also have to use creativity in my job, when writing some texts. And I also use creativity just for being more relaxed. And when I feel failure, I feel disappointed, unhappy, stressed, and this mostly is regarding when I'm postponing some things. Like I said that I will draw some picture, and I just don't take time for this, and I'm postponing in a future.
Yeah.
Mm. Good.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Shall I move on to the next slide? Yeah. Okay, so okay, so I know from my own experience working as an artist in the studio that if you work on developing your relationship to failure, you will become more resourceful, more resilient, and to learn to deal more powerfully with destruction and mistakes. Because mistakes will happen and destruction happens. You know, it might not be you destroying something. It could be something outside, but it could also, I mean, very often when I'm making a painting, I can spill something or destroy, make a terrible mistake and ruin the painting, and that can happen. But mistakes and destruction is inevitable, and we just heard from two people who are doctors. So sometimes mistakes it's a question of life or death, or even a question of our humanity. Everybody on the planet might die, because of mistakes. So it will, things happen, and but I think one of the most useful things is to have a good relationship, or to develop your relationship with failure, so that we can have a breakthrough from these times, and be creative with these moments and these times. So when I'm working in the studio, it's about striking the right balance for me between being precise, between precision and imprecision, allowing mistakes, and the balance between allowing mistakes and being a perfectionist. So on one extreme, letting mistakes happen, and the other extreme, being a perfectionist. Okay. So for example, I play the saxophone and I love jazz. So I improvise when I play the saxophone. And when you're improvising, you embrace mistakes more than if you're playing something that is not improvising. You know, if I'm reciting something, then it's about getting it more perfect. So there's a balance depending on what you do, who you are, your style. But exploring this balance is useful in being creative. If you're too much perfectionist, then that's a block to creativity, because perfection, it only exists in the brain. It doesn't exist in the world. There's no such thing as perfection. You can't find a perfect husband or a perfect wife or a perfect painting or a perfect film. It doesn't exist, but it does exist in the brain. So that can cause problems with being creative. So it's really important, I think, when you're being creative, to look more deeply at reality and to focus on the process, focus on research, experimentation, and having creative breakthroughs rather than the finished outcome. Okay?
No, this is fantastic, Claire.
Okay.
What I'm reminded of is many people came to this program because they want to get their English to perfection, right? And they are anxious. They feel anxious if they don't speak perfect English, or if their English is less than what they imagine or who they compare to. Is that right, everybody? You feel that sometimes that you're being harsh with yourself after making a mistake? Or that you're feeling less of yourself, or not having this creative flow. And I think what you're saying here can really be taken to the language as well, and how we are allowing mistakes to be like that balance of perfection and imperfection, like kind of the precision and imprecision. It's really, it really sounds to me as something I've been battling myself with, learning German myself. When I'm speaking German, I'm noticing how obviously imperfect it is, and then I still learn to love it. Maybe that's something you're gonna move on to next, but it's really, yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. Keep going.
I'm wondering, Mate, how much more time do I have, so I know what part I might need to skip something?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, good. So, okay, so I'm going to maybe set up what we're going to be doing for, let me just think about this. So, or maybe we could, let me just think. Yeah, well, I'm coming from the background of art, and so for the homework that I want to do, I want to set you up with thinking about how you can every day practice this creativity. And I'm going to ask you to do something for 10 minutes every day. And so just take 10 minutes. That's all you need. If you want to do it for longer than 10 minutes, then that's okay. And if it's best if you choose something that perhaps was connected to when you were a child. So if you enjoyed drawing, for example, then I would like you to take 10 minutes every day to do some drawing. if you liked singing or dancing, or maybe building something with Lego or blocks. But I would like you to take 10 minutes a day to do that activity, but I would like you to practice doing it badly. Okay, so try to do stuff that is not good in your opinion. Okay, so now we're just going to have a look at what you think is good. How can we judge what's good and what's not good? Okay, because that can be quite difficult to judge what's good and what's not good. So I would like to have a think about art for a moment. Okay, art is a very broad term. It can mean a lot of different things. So people think about different things when they see the word art. So for a moment, I'd like you to just think, for you, what is art? What do you think about when you think of art? And what is for you is good art, and what is bad art? So when you see good art, what do you think about? Or what is it when something is good? And what is it when something is bad? Okay, maybe for example, you like good technique, or maybe you like something that's with good imagination. So maybe something that has been researched really well, or something that you can really understand. And maybe something that's bad is maybe it's been done too quickly, or maybe you don't understand it, or maybe you think that they've cheated, or I don't know. There could be lots of different ways that you judge if something is good or if something is bad. Okay.
I got one idea, Claire, what's good and bad for me. And it's really good you made these examples, and actually I think it's good that a couple more people can raise their hands and think of what is good and bad for them. For me, recently, so I'm really interested in this pandemic almost as a researcher. So I've been reading hundreds of pages and journals, and I've been really engaged in how we find the solution to this pandemic, right? And I've developed a really strong opinion of what is good writing or good reporting on it, and what's bad reporting on it. I even find myself very agitated when I see or hear bad reporting on the pandemic, right? And what I've developed for me is so for me actually this solutions that I'm noticing to the COVID-19 crisis, I'm seeing them as an art. So I see a lot of art going on right now in the world. Even the developing of the vaccine is kind of an art, and finding financing for all those huge projects is an art. And I think art is in this area. It's a lot of art that I'm seeing right now. And then what is good art in this way is well designed research, peer reviewed, with other researchers conferring like to the results. That's really a balanced, kind of like really carefully crafted based on the already known facts. And also that has some kind of a tweak in it, kind of like a creative way how we could combine different already known facts. That's what's good for me, and useful, kind of like something that's proven to be useful. I've just recently seen a website that was really good art in my view, like which countries have curved the flat, which are still have some actions to take, and which ones are doing really badly, but really well done, with really good advice for the countries as well. And then the bad art or bad research here are also conspiracy theories. People are saying that it's somehow connected to 5G networks, that's been man-made virus, that there's some organizations behind it. That's really bad art for me, really bad reporting. There's no factual evidence. It just creates anxiety and kind of people feeling unwell because of it, but there's no background about it, right? But people who are not like academics are not like well no. So I think it's quite dangerous. It's dangerous in a pandemic to I don't know, spread the different stories. So I'm really emotionally kind of engaged in like what is good and what's bad in this particular area. So thanks for this question. It really reminded me of this recent passion of mine and what's good and bad. Maybe others. What do you guys feel? What's good art, bad art? Who else wants to share? Just a second. I'm gonna. I'm just gonna see everybody to see the big picture. So who has a hand up just to share what's good and bad art, or good and bad something that is for you right now important? Do I see your hands? Let's just see if your hands are working. Just put your right hand up. Anyway, just everybody, just put your right hand up just to see if your hands are working. Just kind of like wave it a bit, and now also test it. Say me. Just kind of like, shake your hand a bit. Yes, just check if it's working. Just check. Just kind of, just go for it. Just try it. Yeah, me. That's an action that you may not feel like doing, but it's really, really, really good if you try it. So I'm going to ask you again, who wants to share what is good and bad art for you? What is art for you, or anything connected to that? Any ideas that you have? Okay, Andrea. Yeah, go for it.
I think that it's not bad art.
Right.
It's just good art, because everything is good in it's not, doesn't matter in which direction you go when you creative something, everything is great. And if you feel joy when creative something, this is the best. Yes. And you can express yourself on any way you want. This is free, and creativity and everything is good, the best.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andrea. Who else wants to be me? Let me see your hands. Let me see how your hands are working. Who is here? I don't see your hands working. Okay, Natasha. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to agree with Andrea. It's really just a good art. Maybe a bad art, it's me singing, but okay. And art for me is also a good response on some stressful situations. You know, how you can come from negative energy to positive energy. This is also an art for me that you can learn or you have in yourself.
Thank you, Natasha. Good. Thank you, everybody. And I want from my side to just ask you guys to notice your feelings and experiences when we're asking you to share something. Because such an action, when you actually put up your hand and then you really ask it, like you ask yourself to be speaking, it's really fantastic. And Pia, you want to say what's good and bad art?
Yeah, I would like to express my I think everything that we do, it's like an art, because it's an art being a good mother, and also it's an art being a good wife. It's an art being the completing and making all of solutions that you have to, and decisions and everything that you have to take in each day. And on the other hand, what I think it's art is a good picture or a good music. And when you see a very nice picture, for me, it's like a music for your soul. It's so calming, and it calms you down, and it's de-stressing, like Natasha said. And I really think, like Andrea said, there is no bad art, because everything we do, it's art. Everything we are, it's art. It's art being here in this world and connecting everybody with each other and so on. So for me, everything is art.
Beautiful.
Great. How much time do we have, Mate?
So we have a classroom until 7:30, and I kind of wanted to wrap up within these hours and until 7:15, and then leave some space for some questions and some more announcements. But I think we can be creative, about this last time. So if you want to share something, or if you want to take us somewhere, I think we're gonna just follow you.
I'm just going to set up the homework.
Mhm.
So
Oh, and maybe Claire, just before you go with the homework, just be aware they already have the agreement to do 20 minutes of something every day, which is they got to be exploring their own topics that they've started, either on Coursera or on Link.
yeah,
So I wanted to maybe give, like, if you could give an option, like either they do the 10 minutes of doing something artistic or something like that, or they could practice when they're in daily touch with me, maybe Monday to Friday. They could practice having a really bad speaking session, so making as many mistakes as they could, or maybe that could be somehow either connected. They could choose either be connected to their English and the topic, or their art. What do you think of that idea?
yeah, that's good. I think there's different options. Either you can combine it, if you don't have that much time, with the 20 minutes, and maybe spend a few of those minutes trying to do your homework badly. So do something that you think is just going to be the opposite of how you would do it well. Just for a few minutes, not for the whole time. Don't do everything badly all the time, but just try for some of the time to do it badly.
They could do some really bad speaking when they're talking to me every day in a daily touch.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear some bad English.
So if people do have more time, then maybe you could pick something. For example, maybe you did ballet when you were young and you have a little bit more time. You could spend some time doing ballet badly, but don't injure yourself. Don't end up in hospital. But maybe, just experiment to see what would that mean. How would you be doing something different?
That's great. And can I hear some of you, or one of you, sharing about this whole topic or what you got from today in a bad way? Like, can you try to do some really bad appearance and explain something in a really bad way? Who wants to try that? I'd like to see Claire's response to someone trying really, trying to embarrass yourself with the worst expression and the worst sentence structure you could ever put together. Who wants to try that? Let me see your hands. Who wants to try? Who wants to try to do a really bad impression? Come on, try.
I just want to say, it can be very difficult to do this. And
okay.
It can be something, maybe it's fun to do with children, or something to do, if you, maybe an easy one, it could be easier for people, is to sing badly, so practice singing, but really badly. And it can be so much fun to do that. You could do it alone, or you could do it with your children, or you could do it now if somebody would like to sing really badly. I mean, it's so embarrassing. But it's a very good exercise, because it takes you over the edge. And what I heard, there was another book that I read a long time ago, and it was by Thomas More. And he said that it was a book on creativity. And he said, to be creative, you have to carry the fool. The fool? It's like the jester, the joker, the person who everybody laughs at. But in order to be creative, you have to be able and willing to be that foolish person. So, it would be very difficult if somebody wants to sing badly now. It would be wonderful. But it would also, I know, be so embarrassing probably for that person. But if you want to do it, I don't know, you can give it a go. But even better if you can do it with your English. Just go for it.
Or singing in English.
But I would understand if you don't want to.
Anyone up for the challenge? No hands up? Well, it's understandable, no hands up, right? Akiko, you wanna try? Okay, go for it. Yeah, go for it. Fantastic.
Yuki, my son is gone. Okay, come here. We would like to sing ABC song.
Great.
A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I sung the ABCs. Won't you come and sing with me? Thank you.
Oh, great.
Oh, that was so
Oh, that was really beautiful.
I feel so embarrassed. Of course.
I mean, one thing that I've learned really is when you feel embarrassed, but you do it anyway, is always beautiful. It's so wonderful when people do that. And but at the same time, if you're going to do something that's embarrassing or you think it's going to be bad, it's a real feeling. It's really like you can't think, oh, this is going to be beautiful because I feel bad, because that won't work. So it's really, you've just got to throw yourself into that. Maybe you're gonna be terrible,
but that was really beautiful, Akiko. That was just really beautiful. I mean, who thinks that was beautiful? Just to see whether it's just me imagining or that was really beautiful singing. Was really
Thank you. Every day singing with my son.
Yeah, great, beautiful.
Thank you.
So I realized something, that maybe sometimes I'm embarrassed to do something or say something or be somehow that for me it's really embarrassing and really looks bad. But when I'm doing it, it may be beautiful to other people. So that's quite a realization I've just got for myself through Akiko's thinking that her singing was bad, and then that being really, really beautiful. It's really awesome. Wow. Awesome. Really great. I mean, anyone else wants to go ahead? Good, but you got an example. So the point is action, right, Claire?
Yes.
So the point is to do something in a you just do, right? To take action.
Take the action, have the intention. This is allowed to be bad. Even try to make it, like, just say, yep, this can be bad. It could be writing, maybe ideas, or it could be, I would like to actually give you a little example with the screen. This was just yesterday as I was planning the lesson. I saw the moon. So the moon, maybe you saw the moon, was very beautiful yesterday. It was a full moon a few days ago. So I thought, I have to take a photograph of the moon. But I moved too quickly. And so I took one photo that was good and one photo that was not good.
Okay.
And then when I looked at the photo that was not good, afterwards I thought, oh wow, that's actually an idea. Maybe I could paint with light moving the camera. And maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not a good idea, I'm not sure. But I mean, many artists have developed their whole careers on making a mistake and discovering something. So it's really important to make mistakes and to look at your mistakes, and you don't have to look at them straight away. I find that it's more useful to maybe look at the mistakes the next day. So when you're doing the writing or doing the work, just do it. and don't worry about getting it perfect or getting it right.
And Claire, we have Yuri asking one question. Yuri, can you repeat what you wrote?
What I wrote?
Can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, actually, my question is, what do we get out of it by doing something bad? What is the point of it? To get creative, or to get some, by accident, some new great ideas, or what is actually behind it?
Yes, the reason for doing this, I'm just going to go back to this one. I think this is important actually to finish with, actually. I think that to be creative, you need to have creative breakthroughs. You know, it's not about doing something good every time. Okay, if you're always doing things precisely and getting things right every single time, then you're more like a machine, and you will improve, but your improvement will only be limited. But when you make mistakes, that's when you can, and when you struggle to overcome the mistake, and you take the time to learn from your mistakes, that's when you can have a creative breakthrough. And a creative breakthrough is a moment that makes a big difference in what you're doing, not just a small difference. Okay, so that's why it's important to learn from your mistakes, and to learn to have a good relationship with mistakes. So you're not scared of them, but you look at them and you embrace them, and you think, how can I deal with this mistake? So, you know, if you spend some time on an activity, 1 hour, for example, or 1 day or 1 week, any amount of time, and you're doing this activity, for example, painting, and everything is going wrong, and I'm not doing good work, then I don't think, oh, that's a waste of time, you know, and I don't get so upset, but I can actually think, okay, this is good. This is just as good as getting everything right.
And Claire, this is a perfect ending with Yuri. Thank you for a perfect question. So let's go into a next 3 weeks until 31st of May, where we allow ourselves to be bad when trying something, right? Everybody up for that? Who's up for that? Let me hear who's up for that. Who's up for that? Who's up for that? Say me.
Yeah, we want.
All right, let's do some bad stuff, and looking forward to what's gonna come out of that. Thank you, everybody. Love you lots. See you, everybody, 31st of May, and the May season we're starting tomorrow. Mwah.
Thank you.
And Claire, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Let's give hands to Claire. Really good job today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Yay! So some of you, Gregor and Lucia, you've been part of our Life Language Bootcamp, where Claire had a fantastic lecture today on creativity.
I'm gonna say bye. I'll speak to you soon, Mate.
Yeah, but we are on a photo reading now. You're in for our weekly.
I would love to, but I should really move on, I think.
You
I
gotta
think
go.
work, yeah.
Got it. You wanna
Yeah.
join us for like just a few minutes, just to wrap up on the last week of auto reading?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Sure. Okay. Let me just invite the. Yeah, it's 7:30. It moved so quickly, right? It's 6:30 your time. You must be behind your stuff, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. Let me
Normally
just.
do this at very so early in the morning.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. So let me just invite the group. Here we have the. Just a second. Invite the Adriana and Indira. So let's see. Did I forget someone? So it's Lucia, Clemen. Oh, where's Clemen? Okay. Maya.
Hi.
Hello, Maya. Okay. Hi. Okay, guys. So we only have Claire here for a few minutes, and then we're gonna continue on our own. I don't know why Clemen has gone. So, anyways, good morning and welcome to the photo reading wrap up after the last week. So I'd just like to hear maybe from Claire, since you're still here, what's been on your photo reading front